Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. And let me just see my camera, it's over there. Okay, welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. And this week we're talking about motivation for no matter what. So as always, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on the replay, please do remember to share this on your timeline, because you just never know, you really never know who of your friends or family or acquaintances might need to see this or to hear this message this morning. So Monday Motivations was started way back in 2008, where while I was still working within my corporate job, I decided that Monday's got a really bad reputation. People seem to dread or fear Mondays, and position themselves for an overwhelming Monday. So quite a few years later, down in 2010, when I actually started my business, I decided to continue the tradition of pepping up your Monday. And about 4.5 years ago now, probably a little bit more than that, I thought, why not bring it up to date and do a Facebook Live? So by streaming this out to you, I hope that this little nugget will really infuse your Monday, your morning, and even your week. So if you have ever worried about how you're going to get going and keep going, maybe you've struggled with motivating yourself because it's been so turbulent around you. Maybe you're in an environment where you wish that things would kind of just settle down and even out a bit so that you can just get on with what you need to get on with and do, then this episode is just for you. So I start this episode reflecting back on the week and couple of weeks really. So you could say, reflecting back on the month, hey, good morning, Charlie. You're finally able to get some Monday Motivation Live. Woohoo, yes, thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking that time out. So I reflect back on various different things, conversations I've had with clients, discussions I've had with the corporates that I work with, the companies that I work with, and even with people that are navigating the waters of small business. And one of the things that's really, really coming up for a lot of you is this kind of pockets and feelings of absolute certainty in certain days and times, and then other feelings where we kind of navigate through, you move through, and then you think, gosh, how am I supposed to keep motivated? How am I supposed to put one foot in front of the other when this thing's happened, or when around me this environment, fill out your own gap. So today I just wanted to share a couple of tips with you that I really think will help. And I had a gorgeous training experience this week with the ITT, who are the Institute of Travel and Tourism. So by the way, if you or a friend of yours are in the travel, tourism, or even the hospitality industry, somewhere on this page down there, do point them to the ITT, or better still, if you go to YouTube, I want to whisper, then go over to there and click in the search bar and click in ITT for Institute of Travel and Tourism Future You, and you'll actually, for a limited time, be able to see the masterclass that we did, Time to Shine, 5 Steps to Standing Out. So go over and have a look. The energy from that was amazing, the feedback was really great, and I hope that it will help you. It's certainly helped a lot of people, judging by the messages that I've received since then and that the ITT have received since then. So I just want to give a shout out to Ivona. Morning, Ivona, and Sarah. Hiya, Sarah. How are you doing? Good to see you over here. So here's how we create motivation no matter what. So the first thing that I want to say is, quite often we feel like sometimes the best way to be motivated is by our circumstances. And you know what? Life goes up and down. We travel through life, we don't know what's coming next, and sometimes we're surprised by things, sometimes we're not. But the one thing to know is that there are 2 ways in which you can have motivation work for you. You can have motivation work for you if you focus on you, or you can have motivation not work for you if you focus on the things around you. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. And why is it even important? you know, as we go through life, usually we don't know what's coming around the corner, quite literally. So if we can hone the muscle, so imagine that you're going to the gym, if you can hone the muscle on a daily basis or even more regularly than that, to be able to look after yourself and motivate yourself, this will be like engaging and strengthening the muscles for when you really need it. Now, many of you are parents, many of you are, carers, many of you look after other people. In fact, a high percentage of people who watch these are either coaches, counsellors, you do things like that. So, and for the rest of you that watch these, you might work in a corporate environment, but you are more people than the process. You look after people. You want the people around you to be okay. You want to make sure that you're okay. And it is using that very well-worn analogy about the oxygen mask. But when you're on a plane, they say, put your oxygen mask on first before putting on anybody else's. And as we go through life and we want to motivate ourselves and the others around us no matter what, we do really need to take care of ourselves. So what does that physically look like? Motivation for the self. Sarah's saying, long time, I'm okay, darling. It's so good to see you on here. Motivation for the self often looks like taking good care of ourselves, and people sometimes get stuck on this piece. They say, but I don't know what else I can do. Think about the person or people that you love dearly, people that you would do anything for, no matter what. What advice would you give them if they were struggling or if you saw them not taking care of themselves? And whatever that advice that you would give them is, like, turn it round and have a look at how it can work for you. So take a moment, grab pen and paper, get a little post-it note, something like, this size, and just write down a couple of things that you can do, like one-word things, just to remind yourself of what you can do to look after you so that you can look after others too. And why this is important, when we look after ourselves, almost like our state of mind and how we are being throughout the day, it gives us that flexibility. Because remember, it's like going to the gym and regularly building a muscle. It gives us that flexibility to be able to strengthen those muscles when the thing comes around the corner. We can literally take a moment, take a pause, take a breath, and then move into the situation as it occurs. And, we can feel stronger. So things like eating properly. I've spoken to so many clients over the years who have gone through stress and anxiety. And one of the things that goes when we're stressed or anxiety is sometimes our appetite, but sometimes the thing that goes first is like we don't take care of ourselves, having a good breakfast, setting ourselves up for the day, having a good lunch to refuel and nourish ourselves, and then having something to eat a bit later on in the evening, maybe kind of, dinner time, tea time. We won't open that can of worms, whatever you call that evening meal, supper, all of those sorts of things. So make sure that you look after yourself, that you eat well, that you eat well. And it's okay, I'm not the food police. I'm not going to tell you that you can't have, junk food or anything else like that. What I will say is that at some point in the day, something that you eat needs to be able to nourish and feed you, feed your soul literally as well as your body. So take really good care of yourself that way. Another one that commonly comes up in these times, especially when you are trying to motivate you and others around you no matter what, is sleep. Yes, sleep. How many people have I spoken to over the years that will go to bed later and later and later and extend their working day to later and later and later, yet still get up early, thus decreasing their sleep? For many of us, if we don't have enough sleep, we can be irritable, we can get upset, we can get overly emotional, and that's not to say that there's no room in life for emotion. I personally don't believe that, but we can feel overly emotional, and it can feel harder for us just to go through and deal with the things that are coming to us. Think about this. If you've ever had an experience where you just kind of felt like you were losing it, and then look back at how much sleep have you had, not just the night before, but maybe the nights before, the week before, even the month before. So take care of yourself for that. And then the third thing that I would say is, I often speak to clients who say, well, it's all right for you, Jenny, you've got your own business, so you get to pick and choose who you work with or who you spend time with, and I don't. I have to go to work, I have to work with this person, and they're not particularly nice. And for those of you who are navigating that kind of thing, where you are working, you will often beat yourselves up by saying, yes, but I'm lucky to have a job and other people haven't, and I get all of that. But when you do that, you do negate yourself and how you're feeling about current circumstance. And, over the years, I've coached people through some really horrible scenarios, scenarios where things weren't working out right at work for them or well at work for them, and they were kind of just pushing through to the point it was making them feel physically ill, and quite often in those cases, people will then start to take time off sick. Not because they're kind of, pulling the lead or swinging the lead or anything else like that. It's just that it literally will go to their body, Think about this. You spend so many hours of the day at work, surrounded by other people, and if your environment is particularly toxic or not well balanced, you will feel pretty shonky. So think about how you feel and your environment at work. And whilst that might not be something that you can necessarily control, these muscles will help, go out for a walk, especially in the winter for those of you in this hemisphere, especially in the winter as the evenings get darker earlier, the mornings get lighter later. Think about how you can go out, even if it's a 10-minute walk, Last week I had a very, very busy week, virtually all week, and at lunchtime I dragged myself out and did a walk. Did just a sort of 10-minute, 15-minute walk, just to be able to move my body, clear my head, get some sunlight. So think about things like that. Now, experienced some irritability last week due to lack of sleep. I get it. I experienced some irritability last week, not necessarily due to lack of sleep, but I'm sure that's a whole nother motivation for a whole nother time. So now that you've got these things done, and before we wrap up, what other things can you do that are quick? Because one of the things that I notice, especially if you're in a stressful or kind of triggering environment, think about or have a menu of, let's say, 2 things. Indulge yourself here. Have a menu of 2 scenarios, ones that bring a smile to your face, one that brings you joy. And instead of going all the way back and thinking, oh, what are those scenarios? Go back to the last week. Even if you've had a shocking sort of week last week, you would have had some great bits in there. So think back as recently as you can to a couple of different scenarios that brought a smile on your face. Maybe cuddles with your cat, maybe seeing your children do something, maybe them getting excited about Christmas. Whatever that is, think about a time very recently when you had a smile on your face, and indulge is the word I'm going to use. Think about that time, and if you literally have to set a timer on your phone, that's okay too. Just go for a couple of minutes. Close your eyes if you can, not if you're driving, and close your eyes and think about what were you seeing around you, what were you feeling in that time. Actually get specific on those emotions. What were you hearing? Was it that you're hearing the children giggling and laughing and playing and not arguing? Was it that you had Christmas music on? This weekend I made a Christmas cake. So on this kind of more rare occasion, not only was the making the Christmas cake good fun, it was the smell in the house. It kind of smells like Christmas. So that smell in the house, the gentle buzzing of the oven and kind of that anticipation of wanting to have a look. Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Think about those sorts of emotions and, write down something somewhere where you can identify that emotion. Now, for most of my clients, I'll say, give it a label, a one word that doesn't have to mean anything to anybody else apart from you. So something that you can use, and when you write down that one word, you can have it somewhere where you're going to see it, either on your desk, stuck to your computer. You can even write it on the back of your hand if you have to, or inside of your hand, so that as you go through whatever life throws us at work, you can just quickly flick and remind yourself, your brain doesn't know that this isn't really happening. So what it does is it fires off all those great endorphins and all the feel-good factors that has you, excited, and back in that time, whatever those emotions were for you. And they'll be different for everybody. Even if you're all going through the same experience and you do the same exercise, there'll be different emotions for different people. So with that, I'd love to hear what you're going to focus on this week. Sarah says, I've just had 4 months off with stress and I'm a major self-love reset. Thank you. First of all, Sarah, I want to say I'm really sorry to hear about that. And thank you for sharing that, because this is one of the things that doesn't feel good to me as a coach. I go sometimes into organisations, often into organisations, and I work for some fantastic, or work with some fantastic organisations. But every now and then I'll get that phone call, that email, the Facebook message from somebody saying, I really need your help, I really need some coaching because... And, some people are, and some companies, I have to say, and I'm going to kind of go out and say it, are really complicit with allowing people to be treated badly. So hopefully some of the things I've shared, and it's just such a small slice of the resources out there, some of the things I share will not only help you, and this is any of you that might be watching this live on the replay, if you're going through a difficult time, regardless of what's causing that difficult time. It doesn't have to be a work thing, it could be an environmental thing, it could be a global thing. There are lots of things that you can do, and one of them is, that self-care reset is go self-care extreme. If you find you're watching the news for an update and it's, you leave the news feeling fearful or worried, seriously, don't watch the news. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Quick check on Twitter will let you know what's trending, what's going on at the moment. Jump in and jump off. And do you really need that update, music. Think of your favourite music. Sarah, there's a thing on YouTube. I'll send me a private message on here and I'll send you the link. It's like kind of old school kind of soul-y type thing. And in fact, I'll, if anyone else, not just Sarah, if anyone else wants to listen to that. I know the lovely Sally who watches these will love some of the tunes. Ivona, I know you will love these tunes. And it's just like a real feel-good 29 minutes. Now, if you only have 3 or 4 minutes, then listen to as much as you can and come back to it, So fill your world with music, fill your world with things that you love. Smells, sights, sounds, pictures, memories. Use them. You cannot overuse them, and I swear to you that they will really make a difference to your day. So hopefully helpful. If you've been doing other things that have been really helpful to you and for you, then type them and share them below. Let anybody else who's watching this live or later on, just to to be able to get some ideas for themselves. We don't know where people are on their journey. They might just be at the start of this, or they might have been going through it and coming out of the other end. So I really look forward to hearing what you share, and totally agree on the music. As but it got me through. You know what? In these times, it's such a strong thing. I remember at the beginning of lockdown, all of the I love my dance music, and all of the DJs that were putting on different sets and stuff like that. It was just a pleasure and a joy just to be dancing around on my own in the house. It's not as if I was streaming it, nobody saw it, but it made me feel better. So I really hope this helps, even if it's just one person that's listening, because you will find there are pockets of fun, pockets of joy, pockets of happiness to be had, and all it is just us recalibrating where we look for it, where we find it, and how we create it. Hopefully helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this on your timeline, because you just never know who else might be struggling and might not be speaking out about it. I just want to say shout out to those of you that are watching live. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, Ivona. Thank you, Jill. And I hope I haven't missed anybody else out of there. I think that's it. Thank you so much. And I look forward to the next Monday Motivation, which will be the same time next Monday. However, I'm going to pop in and do a couple more videos this week. I want to check and see how you're getting on and how you're going. And today is my coaching day. So my private clients, I will be pretty much back to back coaching them, sneaking in here while I can and sharing hopefully some nuggets that will help. And if there's a topic that you would like me to cover, maybe something you've been kind of like wondering about, worried about, struggling with, then send me a private message to this page and I will have it as a theme for a future Monday Motivation. Of course, you will remain anonymous, no problem. But if it will help you, you never know who else it will help too. Thank you so much. I'm going to be excited to come back and read these comments in a second and I'll respond to them there. Thank you so, so much. Thank you, Charlie, who was the first person to say good morning. So thank you for watching and bye for now.